Hi, this is Jake Shobukro, and you're listening to The Mike Buck Show. Aloha.
Ay, ay, ay. Okay, so we're on hold to Washington, D.C.
From the mountain to the ocean, from the river to the leeward side.
One of the busiest guys up on the hill today would be Riki Ellison. Trying to put it together to explain to everybody that, you know, every now and again when you have a test that fails, you learn something. I can tell you over the years that we've been covering this area of concern, dismissal defense, more often than not, this stuff works out pretty well. I can remember, and some of you probably can too, that are, you know, longtime listeners and have been hooking up with me and Riki for about 7 years now. That there were a lot of failures back in the day. In the very beginning, half of them failed, more than that. But you kept going, persevere, go for it. And then pretty soon, they worked all the time. And yesterday, I guess we had one that was, whoops, didn't work.
We do it island style. From the mountain to the ocean.
Isn't it interesting how in Washington, D.C., where the swamp is kind of Pilau Lepo, what? I mean, isn't it interesting how people are jumping out of the swamp? The big news scare now is Trey Gowdy is not running for another term. You know why? Because the game's changed. A lot of these guys think, you know, I've had it. I've done enough, you know, compromising and changing my votes and all of that stuff. Ka-ting, ka-ting, what's that? Is that a little deal? Oh, yeah. You got to get, apparently, Key Mothers, our folks are there. Says nobody's answering, but we know better than that. Our studio number. Anyway, if you are one of the ones calling in, let me try to figure this. Let me try to figure who this is. Yeah, there you go. Maybe he's got the wrong number. Who knows? 296-KHNR is the number that he's supposed to have. But if that is the case, I don't know what to tell you. As a matter of fact, my screen is blank over here, so I have no clue what's going on. So I'll just, you know, one good thing is organization. We are organized. And let me tell you how organized we are. We're organized to the point where we've got sign language. And the Shaka sign simply means Riki Ellison is now joining us from the nation's capital. And I was trying to tell you earlier, when you don't have errors or problems or mistakes every now and again, you don't know what to fix. So I'm hoping that that's the curve. Anyway, Riki has been involved in a lot of these. And if you've been following us for the last 7 or 8 years, or even longer, you'll know that there were, in the very beginning, way more failures than successes. And here comes a failure out of the blue, and I have no clue about it, but Riki does, joining us from, I think, somewhere in Washington, where it's probably just a little bit chilly this morning, I guess. Aloha, Riki.
Bad.
How are you, Riki?
Aloha.
It's not bad. What, was it zoomed all the way up to 40 or something? Oh, boy.
Yeah.
You've been on the road for a long time with this stuff, and I know that we always high-five when there is a success. But isn't also, what do you expect that they're going to learn about what happened? And by the way, we don't even really know what happened, except it didn't work.
Right. No, and they haven't released anything, so, and, you know, we're going out, obviously, the CNN story is that it did fail. So it's just, you know, I have full faith in it. We've already intercepted with that missile in February this year that we shot out of the ship on John Paul. So we've got an intercept already on it. It's just, they've got to get to the problem, fix the problem quickly, and put it back out there and retest it as soon as possible within this year back in Kauai to get this thing right.
You know, I want to tell you that Riki, it's really gratifying to hear you say that. I'm not surprised. And I can tell you that, you know, we don't want to be, I don't think people understand the incredible challenge it is to find something that gets launched from somewhere on the globe and a few minutes later be able to go up and hit it, kiss it right on the lips and break it up. I think that's miraculous, and it works. In this day and age, doesn't it work more often than it fails?
Yeah, absolutely. But we're pushing the envelope. This is new innovation. Mm-hmm. And the faster you fail, the quicker you succeed. Got to have that mentality.
I like that.
Develop a much better capable system than we have. So, yeah, we should be pushing the boundaries. We should be pushing the technical engineering to its limits, and we should be testing it now. And if it does fail, it's better than one to fail right now when the real time comes, when
Amen.
defending the people that this system will do. This system is going to go on ships and go on these shore sites in Europe, defending 700 million people, and in Japan, 120 million people, and in Guam, and in Hawaii. It's too important to not and be risk adverse and be all concerned about failure. It's part of the problem. It's part of our culture. We did this in the 50s with the submarines. We did this with our ICBMs. It's in an urgency position that we're in, with the environment of the world, with North Korea proliferating their post missile tests and Iran, we have to compete, and we have to do that rate of test, fail, succeed, and succeed, and then put that in the fleet, and let's roll.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And I can tell you that I got an email earlier that's saying, okay, so what, are we going to make some excuses up for this? Why do we need anything? We got all these boomers. There's a great video going around right now on Facebook. So people are sending all over of some of these boomers. And it is a great thing to know. But the boomers, they're not interceptors, are they? They're weapons.
No, the boomers are ICBM nuclear missiles that are part of our deterrence strategy. They are not even have anything else but that goes on. They go disappear in the bomb, not to be found, and be there in case something ever happens. That's the last thing we want to do is have a nuclear fight and have a fire nuclear missile. I mean, come on now. We gotta create, a great environment. We've got to create an environment of stability. We've got to negate his threat that the North Korean guys got. We've got to negate it so we can look at all these other options on the table besides going to war.
The other night in the State of the Union speech, the president was really clear about strengthening the military. I thought it was a pretty good show of support. Does this in any way deter, do you think, Riki, or does it say this is the reason why we have to spend more? We have to perfect this system.
Well, I think it's pressure. We've been our military because of the sequestra and because we have to equalize spending on it. So we have not been able to be as proficient as we can be and should be in the world today. And you're seeing some of that with our ships running into each other and stress on our military from not having enough equipment, for not having enough ability to train and equip themselves. So we've got to become a much stronger nation because Russia and China especially are challenging our status quo.
Isn't it sort of interesting, Riki? There's always people to stand up when we say that and say, yeah, but they're our trading partners. There's a certain amount of truth in that. We don't want to alienate the economic side of our relationship with Russia and China, but they seem to be, and particularly in China's right now, they're flexing their muscles by not interfering with Kim Jong-un. They're not doing anything to deter this guy. As a matter of fact, they might even be helping him.
Well, and it's in their best interest, obviously, right now, the situation, because they want a nuclear North Korea that's unified with the United States. They don't want the United States on the peninsula of Korea. They don't want the United States probably, west of Hawaii. And they are trying strategies, as you see across the Pacific, in these little islands in Saipan, and taking over those economies and investing in them and isolating them from the U.S. They want to change the status quo of the Pacific, and they are doing it in various ways, not just military, not just creating islands like they're doing, but economically. So,
let's make no bones about that, Riki. People really need to know that. People that are confused are talking about, we need to take care of ourselves. We can't be worried about what's going on in South Korea. We've already assumed the role of the protectorate of the planet. And, I mean, isn't it sort of interesting? Our allies respect more than what we're doing in missile defense, and sometimes our own people do.
Yeah. Our allies are partnering up with us, but we're just protecting our way of life. We're not trying to protect the entire world. We're protecting our way of life and our status quo, and it's being challenged now. It never was after World War II, and we're slowly seeing for the first time again these near peers challenging us in trying to change the status quo of the world to be more beneficial to them than to us.
What was your take on the reaction of people when we talked about being stronger and strengthening our military? That must have come as a great
relief to a lot of people in here, knowing that we've been restrained from being able to do what we can do, what we should be able to do to modernize and to compete and to be always ahead of the threat that's up. We've been really constrained in our capabilities and our training and our manpower. So I think everybody's excited about that. Just to create that bigger buffer and the bigger strength to keep our world a safer place.
Yeah, I'm so glad to hear that. And I was watching with bated breath the acceptance, and I think that, forget about what anybody thinks about somebody individually, but I think that we're in pretty good shape. I think that we've made some pretty good changes, and I just hope that even under the threat of added expense that we maybe can or cannot afford, we really have to prioritize our spending to make sure that the military spending is number one.
Yeah. And our allies got to pick it up. Yeah. We're paying for the defense of Japan. We're paying for the defense of Korea and Europe, and they're using that money to go do social programs with it.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's our defense money being used by them because they don't have to pay for it.
Isn't it interesting also, what wasn't it also interesting, Ricky, when the president said, hey, look, we're going to take a hard look at all of these countries that we're giving money to and see if they're opposed to what we're doing, let's stop giving them money.
Right. Now, there's no way countries like Germany and Japan, who have tremendous economies, should be relying on our defense dollars that are limited to not pay their share.
Yeah.
And we've already committed to 2%. Really, do we need to be spending 2% on every one of these nations in Europe? We don't live in 1950. So, and these nations have recovered. They've got strong economies, and they need to have the self-responsibility to govern themselves and to defend themselves, and let us be on the overall part of it. But to do a lot of strain too, that needs to be done.
Ricky, how do you buy into or handle comments that come along and say, like, I got this email that sort of says, hey, we have an aging infrastructure. What about the aging infrastructure of our military? What about how long do we keep a tank or an airplane or a ship or anything? We get a new car every 3 or 4 years. We've got ships in the Navy that have been sailing for 40 or 50 years.
Yeah, but we need to make that shift, just like the cavalry made the shift when the machine guns came. We need to make the shift to directed energy lasers, solid state, on UAVs above the clouds that can burn holes through anything, any ballistic missile, anything that flies in under a second for less than a half a gallon of gasoline.
It's unbelievable. Ricky, it is so unbelievable.
That's exactly where we need to go.
Yeah, and what's so unbelievable about that is you can say, yeah, but all you want. But the fact of the matter is, even having one of those is going to deter even somebody crazy like Kim Jong-un about doing anything.
No, you eliminate the ICBM threat. You hit that in the first 300 seconds. We've got capability right now that we're testing, developing at 150 kilowatts that can stand off maybe close to 60 miles to 100 miles. They can burn a hole through a half-inch piece of steel in under a second.
Yikes. Okay, I want one of them. Jeez. Okay, so now, Ricky, what's next? Obviously there's going to be the boo birds flying around, but I would think that most of our leaders are saying, hey, we learn more from a failure, like you said earlier, than we do success sometimes.
Yeah, and this mission was more complex because Japanese and the U.S. mixed parts with that. So there's Japanese parts on this one, there's U.S. parts on it. So, and it's a great project. Again, sharing the cost load of building both countries have put in billions of dollars of investment in this interceptor. So they're going to figure out. They're smart. We're smart. We'll figure it out. No, not a big deal. It's not like we haven't hit it already. We've already hit one of them. So this does the little things that need to be done, so this can become 100% reliable when it goes into operations. It's not in operations yet. It's a testing capability that we are developing and making it the best we can to do a lot of things with it.
Well, I like it.
Everybody's it's too important for Japan, for the United States, not to sit around and take a year or two to get this thing right. This is to be done quick.
The headline, the secondary headline in the Star Advertiser this morning here in Honolulu, Ricky, is defensive missile misses target off Kauai. Navy is mum on the test. Well, it's not going to be mum for long. Nobody wants any information released right before it gets vetted. Is what happened here, and now let's tell the truth.
Yeah, I don't think it's up to none of us on really they'll figure out what's wrong with it. They'll get that right. But I think there's bigger messaging here. Obviously, the Japanese are involved with it, so that they don't take failure too well. There's a bigger message with North Korea, who is fails and succeeds with that. So these are bigger, and it's it's none of their business. We've got to get this thing right, and we got to be unafraid of failure, and we got to retest it. And the Department of Defense's position that doesn't need to tell anybody anything.
Well, that's why, Ricky. That's why we love talking to you. You're a half full glass guy, not an empty glass guy. So next, I can't wait to when everybody gets back in session, gets past this, whatever it's going to do to keep the government's doors open, and then really take a look at this thing and say, okay, we've learned a whole bunch. The good news is we know what to do. And we're going to do another test, and we're going to do it right away.
Yeah, and I think you'll see it, and you'll be proud of it. A year from now, when we have all these missiles in places around the world, better defending all our people.
Yep.
That's a great feeling to do that.
And also maybe, and Ricky, maybe some of our allies can bust out their checkbooks and start taking care of us for what we're doing for them.
No, you're absolutely right. And you're at the tip of the spear, man. You are right there, and I am. I'm fighting. I'm here to fight.
It's all your fault, man. It's all your fault that my audience is connected to what's going on in Congress through you. We appreciate it.
Yeah, but we want all 50 states to be equally defended.
Amen.
All 50 of them. So let's get that right.
All right, my friend. Always a pleasure hooking up with you. Good luck, Godspeed, and we'll talk to you again real soon.
Thanks, Mike.
Aloha.
Aloha.
There you go. That's my bid. That's Rocket Man, Ricky Ellison.